When my wife and I purchased our house, it looks like the previous owner had tried to fix grout problems with the flooring by just smearing some more grout over where the grout was deteriorating, and it didn't work so well. Evidently the original grout was mixed very dry, and that caused the problem. So I'm replacing the grout. I'm using a Dremel Multi-Max, and I've got a grout blade in it. And the other things that I'm going to be using for this job are a shop vacuum, some tile grout. What I'm using is a latex tile grout, a grout finishing tool, a putty knife to apply the grout. I'll need some paper towels to clean it up, and I will need a method for cleaning it. I prefer the Swiffer Wet Jet because it's a flat surface. It doesn't get down into the tile, so it won't disturb the grout when I'm done, and we'll just clean the tops of the towels. Now, the Dremel Multi-Max can't be used for heavy duty work because it gets hot too quickly, but it does a good job if you're a homeowner for a small job. And I've put the blade on. Putting it on in this direction allows you to get very close to walls and tubs, etc., and get a nice seal next to them. And to start, you simply start the tool, put it down into the and it turns it into dust. Why I like using this method instead of one of the rotating tools is it doesn't throw the dust up in the air, so you've localized your mess, so it's much easier to clean up later. Once you're done grinding up the old grout, you should have a floor that looks something like this. And the next step will be to vacuum all of this out, pick up any areas where there is still grout remaining that needs to come out, and then get ready to grout it. For this, I use the shop vac to suck all this stuff up. As you can see, the first pass does a pretty good job. I'm done vacuuming it up, but you can also see that there was some grout left behind simply because I couldn't see it through the dust that was there. So now it's time to do the pickup work and get the last of the grout out of there because it's easier to see. Now this is what the grout will look like after or what the tiles will look like after you've pulled the grout out. Also notice that I've gone a little bit past the edge of where I'm going to stop my grout when I put the new grout in. That's because later on I need to continue on with the floor, and I don't want to have to remove what I'm putting in today. The next step is to start putting the grout in between the tiles. It's not really that difficult to do. It is a fairly thick latex grout. Now this looks nasty right now, but it'll actually finish up very well. But what you have to do is put a lot on and force it down in there so that it fills the cracks between the tiles. Because if you don't, you'll just have problems in another few months where it will come loose or shrink and you'll have to fill it up again. Now it'll look bad at this point, but it's supposed to. Now I've finished filling in the cracks in the grout. Note that I didn't fill in everywhere that I cleared, only to where I have a nice straight area around. And I find that this is the most that I'm really willing to do at one time, just because of all the additional steps that are going to be involved. But at this point, it's ready. The grout is ready to be pointed, the tops of the tiles cleaned, and then left to dry for 24 hours. Now, once you've finished cleaning your tools, you're ready to get started with the repointing. It takes less than 5 minutes to clean your tools if you're using latex grout. You need a grout finishing tool like this. They sell several different kinds. This just happens to be the one that I have. You take this, you run this down along the edge of the tiles, and put your leftover grout back in the container. Now, with the pointing of the tiles all finished, it still looks a little bit nasty on the tops of the tiles. This is where the paper towels come in handy. You don't have to get them real wet, just wet enough that they will start cleaning up the latex grout. Go as close as you can. You can also go a little bit into the area between the tiles, but it's best to try and stay out of there if you can. But the idea is now to take the latex grout off the tops of the tiles. You'll go through a few paper towels as you do this. You could use a rag if you want. I just use paper towels. Now I've finished the paper towel portion of the cleanup. Now is when you need your Swiffer wet jet or any other similar mop. Simply push the thing, get a little bit of the stuff on top of each tiles, the cleaner. And then the nice thing is that the Swiffer wet jet, and there are several other kinds of mops. There are many other ones on the market. This just happens to be the one I have. Use this to clean off the tops of the tiles. This will remove the last of the latex grout from on top of the tile and will give you a nice clean surface. So if you're married like I am, there'll be no complaints later about the mess you've left.